I'm sure you've heard of Volkswagen, which is basically how you correctly pronounce Volkswagen. It basically means the people's car, or car for the people. In Malaysia, we have the Perodua Axia, which is truly a car for the people. Now, in my line of work, I get to drive some really nice cars. I've been doing so for the past, 15, 16 years. And there are some cars that really turns people's heads. Sometimes it's a McLaren, sometimes it's a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or even a Mercedes. But I can tell you this, quite a lot of people that came up to me to ask about the new Axia. Why? Well, there's a long story behind it. But before we go any further, as usual, a quick word from our sponsor. Hey guys, we would just like to take a couple of seconds to tell you about BH Petrol's Infinity RON95 Euro 4M. Now this is unlike any other petrol out there because it features advanced German additives. What these additives do is that they go into your engine, they clean out all the deposits that have formed inside your engine from years before. And if you continue using Infinity RON95 Euro 4M from BH Petrol, you're basically ensuring that your engine continuously runs clean. But not only that, BH Petrol's RON95 Euro 4M also features 90% reduced sulfur. That's a 90% reduction in sulfur, guys. That is not only great for your engine, but it's wonderful for the environment. So the next time you pour BH Petrol, know that you're making the right choice. Now this is the second generation Axia. The Axia can trace its lineage directly back to the mighty Kancil. I think every Malaysian probably would have had some experience with the Kancil. It's just a fabulous car and has come to define the Malaysian motoring industry. The Axia though, right before the Axia we had the Viva, which was equally a great car. The Axia though has been spectacular. Perodua has sold over 500,000 units of the Axia. So that is a mighty feat by itself. Now, the second generation Axia is not just a simple rebadge or anything of that sort. Perodua has put in a lot of effort into developing the second generation Axia. The company has actually invested nearly R500 million. That's right, 500 million ringgit into developing the Axia, the second generation Axia. And also, besides financial investment, the company has invested over 300,000 man hours into developing this very fine car right now. Well, that's a lot of investment in terms of finances as well as man hours. And what we get is an amazing car, not only to look at, but to drive, and the features that it offers put some very expensive cars to shame. Let's check it out. So in this video, I want to tell you 11 interesting facts about the new Axia and just 2 things that I think could be better. Now, the Axia sits on a new platform called the Daihatsu New Global Architecture Platform. Now, for those that do not know, Daihatsu is actually Perodua's manufacturing partner. Well, other than that though, you can also find other Perodua models such as the Ativa as well as the Alza that also sit on the same DNGA platform. Interestingly though, even the new Veloz sits on the same DNGA platform as well. The new platform is actually 80 kgs lighter than before, but interestingly, it's also 30% stiffer than before as well, which means that the car is actually safer. Now, even the crumple zones of the new Axia have been redesigned. Now, crumple zones are parts of the car that are meant to absorb impacts. That's why it's called a crumple zone. So, the crumple zones will absorb impact rather than transferring those forces back into the cabin and its occupants. So crumple zones are important parts of any car. So the crumple zones of the Axia have been redesigned. So that makes the Axia a lot safer than before as well. But just because the platform is 80 kgs lighter than before doesn't mean that the overall weight of the car is lower than before. In fact, the curb weight of the new Axia has increased by 30 kgs for an overall curb weight of 890 kilograms. So why is it heavier? Because the new Axia is packing a lot more features than before. So let's get into that in point number 2. But let's talk about the size of the car before we get to the features that it offers. Now the new Axia is actually 115mm longer than before. It's also 45mm wider than before. It sits 15mm lower, whilst ground clearance is actually 20mm lower. But that doesn't mean that you have to worry about floods. I'll get to that later. But despite it being longer, wider, lower than before, the interior legroom still remains the same. But that's not a bad thing, because even the previous generation Axia was already quite a spacious car, especially for taller drivers. However, because of its increased size, you do get 47mm more in the boot, and then that translates to 5 liters more storage space. Now the third point that I want to talk about is the driving ergonomics of the new Axia. As you can see, it's actually a very comfortable car to drive now, I can attest to that. But that's partly due to the repositioned pedals. Previously, the pedals required your foot to be almost in an upright position, which over long distances was proving to be very uncomfortable. Now the brake pedal as well as the accelerator pedal have been repositioned and letting you adjust your foot to a more comfortable position, so it's not exactly upright. Now the steering wheel too is tilt adjustable, letting you adjust the position of the steering wheel to what's comfortable for you. Now even the seats, especially in the AV model, are semi-bucket seats, and they have just the right amount of bolstering at the side, giving you just the right amount of comfort when over long distance drives or after a hard day's at work. Now in point number 4, I want to talk to you about the powertrain. Now it's still the same 1-litre 3-cylinder engine producing 67 horsepower and 91 Nm of torque. That is the same. However, the gearbox has been replaced. There's no longer the 4-speed automatic gearbox. However, in its place is the DCVT gearbox that's designed for more efficiency and better power delivery, which takes me to point number 5. Now the next point that I want to talk about is fuel efficiency. I'm driving the top of the line AV model, and Perodua says that if you drive this car in eco mode, it will be able to travel 27.4 kilometers per litre. That is seriously impressive, and Perodua goes on to say that the AV will theoretically be able to cover the distance between KL to Penang, which is roughly about 360 kilometers, for just 28 ringgit. Yeah, that is impressive. But what about the other models? Well, there are no slouches either. The Perodua says that the non-AV models will be able to cover 25.2 or 25.4 kilometers per litre, and that is equally as impressive. Now in point number 6, I want to talk to you about the aerodynamic efficiency of the new Axia. Notice that the car is perhaps a little boxier than before. That's because it's 10% more aerodynamic than the previous generation Axia, thanks to subtle fins such as this, over here, as well as this, the spoiler. And then you'll notice that even at the back here, you get all of these edgier proportions, and this all contributes to the new Axia being 10% more aerodynamic. This also leads to better fuel efficiency. In point number 7, I want to talk to you about flash floods. Perodua thought it was important to give the Axia better minor flash flood wading performance. So how did it do this? Well, it relocated the position of the engine as well as the air intake to a higher location. Now this gives the Axia better minor flash flood wading performance, because flash floods come out of nowhere. So you want to be better prepared. Axia though comes better prepared straight from the factory. Now, driving the same car over a period of years can be quite boring. Now, the Axia is equipped with a customizable meter panel, so the readings on the meter panel can be customized according to your mood. So there are 4 different designs for you to choose from. This is design 1. Excuse me. This is design 2, which is quite cool. And then this is design 3, which is also very cool. And then this is design 4. Both, actually all of them, look really good. So you can always customize the meter panel according to your mood. All of them look great. Now in point number 9, I want to talk about the impressive turning radius of the Axia. It has a turning radius of 4.5 meters, which is impressive. Now, this is something that is difficult to explain and demonstrate on video. In fact, you need to try it to believe it, but it's just incredibly mind-blowing how agile the car feels like thanks to its turning radius. Now, this makes it very maneuverable, especially in tight parking conditions. I experienced this firsthand yesterday when I needed to park this car in a tight parking position. It's already a small car, so that was great. And because of the fact that I have a 4.5 meter turning radius, that just made this very easy to get in and out of parking lots, especially tighter ones. This is impressive. Makes it a very easy car to drive. Have you ever been in traffic and you're stuck at the red light, so you just decide to browse your phone, reply some messages, or maybe just browse your social media, and then suddenly everybody's honking at you and the car ahead of you has got so far away and you feel like a total idiot? Well, guess what? The Perodua Axia actually has a solution for that, and it's called the front departure warning alert. So this works when the car ahead of you actually makes a move, and the Axia will just alert you to remind you that, hey idiot, you're driving. Let me demonstrate this. So there you have it. It shows vehicle ahead moving. So that is just basically your prompt, your alert, to remind you that the car ahead has moved ahead. So I think it's quite an important feature to have. And full credit to Perodua for putting it in the Axia. So my final point, point number 11, is the safety systems that the new Axia has to offer. Besides 6 airbags, it also comes with the Perodua Smart Drive Assist, Advanced Safety Assist. Now it has so many features that I actually had to list them all over here. So it comes with things like pre-collision warning, pre-collision braking, so if you do not act to the warning, it will brake by itself. It has front departure alert, which I demonstrated earlier. It has pedal misoperation control, which actually, if you accidentally press on the throttle, on the accelerator, the car will not react. You have lane departure warning, you have lane departure prevention, you have blind spot monitor, which is those lights at the side view mirror, and you also have rear cross traffic alert. So when you're reversing out of a tight spot and you can't see what's behind you, the car will alert you in case there is some obstacle or a car is coming or a pedestrian is coming. So that's very, very handy. Now the Perodua Axia has already proven to be a very impressive car. Now there are just 2 things about it that I wish could be better, such as this rear view mirror. Now the image, actually everything that I'm seeing looks a little bit distorted. It looks a little bit wavy, and it has sort of a fisheye effect. So in some instances, maybe you can buy it in Brothers or such. A fisheye effect is actually a good thing because it gives you a wider view, and you can actually keep an eye on the rear passengers, especially if you have young kids and all. But in this instance, I can't see the rear passengers. In fact, I can't see the rear seats, and everything at the back looks a little wavy and distorted. So I really think that the rear view mirror could be better. And there's one other thing that I wish the Perodua Axia had. And the second thing that I really wish the Perodua Axia had, which I think would perfect this package 10 out of 10, is the fact that it does not come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. In my books, that's actually very important to have. It just makes the car gives it a much more pleasant experience because you can control, you have access to all your music, all your favorite music, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's on YouTube Music. It's actually very easy to access. You have access to Waze, Google Maps, and basically everything that you need, whether you're using an Android-based operating system or an Apple iPhone. So I really wish that it came with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It would have just perfected the Perodua Axia. So there you have it then, guys. 11 interesting facts, amazing facts about the new Perodua Axia. Now this is the AV model, the top of the line model, and it just costs 49,500 ringgit, meaning this is an amazing value for money car. I can't think of anything better than the Perodua Axia, especially at this price point. Thank you for watching. Do consider subscribing.